Barber scissors, right?
Precision cutlery. 46 years. There you go, sir.
Finally, the doggy bits. I give these to my son.
Here's for Myra May. Parking and gas, I'll take care of it.
I have 100 I need to break.
Come on, Ma.
Shoot, I forgot to cash my check. Don't you have direct deposit? She doesn't even have a savings account.
I like to have the money right in my hands.
Still keep it under the mattress?
Never you mind where I keep it. I need change.
Where's my robes?
Hold on.
Wait up.
Good evening. This is Daily Recall for August 24th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Oh, as the summer comes to a close, everything's starting heating up big time. That's all you heard on the news today was this the Trump tariff war and the tariff war coming and escalating, in Canada's big trouble, all that. It's crazy. Kind of reminds me of COVID because it's like been on the news all day. How everybody's reaction to this, what's going to happen and all this. Everybody's freaking out basically. I'm not worried about it. Whatever. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But Doug Ford, he's just going hog wild on Trump. Obviously, he's trying to, maybe he's planning for the next election and he wants to look like the tough guy. I don't know. Let's look at this. This is the big thing today, is Doug Ford's vows to protect Ontario workers from Trump tariffs. I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected, don't worry. I have so many issues with Doug. First of all, he's done more to destroy Ontario than Trump ever will. He was a dictator wannabe during COVID, went hand in hand with Trudeau and all his ridiculous COVID measures, destroyed small businesses across Ontario, added all this LGBTQ stuff and DEI stuff to schools and institutions and city, like all sorts. Everybody has to take the DEI stuff. He promoted it or he let it happen. He helped flood Ontario with all these Indians and Africans and whatever, and Muslims from everywhere. Like, I know he's not in charge of immigration, but he loved it. He wanted as many as he could get. So now he's going to protect us from Donald Trump. No, thank you. The best way to protect yourself against Donald Trump is run the province like a first world country. Not like the way he's done in the last 8 years. So he's just talking tough now to win votes from the elbows up crowd and the boomers that love, they hate Trump, right? So that's Ford's just going to attack Trump because those people, they're deranged, the boomers and the TDS elbows up crowd. So that's all he's doing. So we'll see a bunch of clips from him today. So he's really, getting on the down and personal level with Donald Trump. I'm not saying you have to be nice to Trump or kiss his ass, but you might not want to antagonize him, especially since Ontario is like a manufacturing province. Like, we don't have oil like Alberta, and we rely a lot on manufacturing and exporting to the U.S. And so I don't know how wise it is to get into a derogatory name-calling contest with the President of the United States, whether you like him or not. It's just, and we're the ones that are going to pay for it. Doug Ford's going to be at his cottage eating steaks and drinking beers. We're the ones who are going to suffer through whatever higher prices and communities losing jobs or whatever. Doug Ford ain't going to suffer. That's what makes me mad. He's not going to suffer one bit. So let's read this. On August 24th, that's today, Ford visited Hamilton facility to reassure steel workers and announce an expansion of the Protect Ontario financing program for more businesses hit by new U.S. 50% tariffs on Canadian goods effective August 22nd. So it offers loans, whatever. While some praise Ford's tough stance, others call for caution to avoid higher costs, with Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow supporting a unified Team Canada response amid ongoing trade talks. Man, Team Canada, we got Carney, the total globalist central banker, we got fat trader Doug Ford, we got David Eby, Wab Canoe, Olivia Chow. Oh my God. That's Team Canada. Oh my God. Alright. Let's look at some of this. So look, he's just campaigning basically. He's like, how much, the more I call Donald Trump name, the more votes I'll get.
From President Trump, or you fight like hell. And we're decided we're going to fight like hell.
All right.
We have two choices here. You roll over. We have two choices.
Only time will tell, too. I think Ford's a dummy. I think he's destroyed Ontario. I have no faith in him. But, time will tell. Maybe he comes out on top. But think about it. Donald Trump was doing billion-dollar real estate deals when Ford was slinging hash in Etobicoke. So I'm not a fan of Donald Trump anymore, but I'm pretty sure he could outsmart Doug Ford. So as an Ontarian, I'm not too confident in the matchup there.
Here, you roll over and watch the bleed out of the steel sector, the auto sector, manufacturing from President Trump, or you fight like hell. And we're decided we're going to fight like hell. And we're going to make sure that we protect the companies, protect the workers, protect communities, and we will not spare a penny.
All right. So he's been saying this basically wherever he goes. It's like he's campaigning. Maybe, when the Liberals pick a new leader in October, that Ford will call a snap election or something. Who knows? Next. Here's Ford. I'm just seeing.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of
Yeah.
room to kiss my ass. So
This is one of the more colorful remarks.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to
So
kiss my
basically, he
ass.
is a fat trader. Just like I
I
said.
have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass. So
So he's basically telling the U.S. president to kiss his ass, his fat ass.
So he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
He's telling the U.S. president to kiss his fat ass. So of course it is fat. So I don't know. I don't think it's a good strategy. And like I said, he's destroyed Ontario. So he's the last person who should be criticizing Trump. And look at him laughing here, like the fat. He's got the fake hair and coloring and the spray on tan, sitting there in his cottage. And like I said, he's not going to suffer at all from this if Trump goes ballistic on Ontario manufacturing. He's going to be at his cottage relaxing. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in 2 years from now he'll be a genius and he's right, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be some dark days for Ontario. I know we've seen dark days already under this fat turd. And he is, like I'm telling you, like, I like his brother a lot better. Maybe his brother would have failed us too, but I liked him when he was alive. But here's Olivia Chow. Toronto stands ready to support Team Canada approach to fighting Trump's malicious tariffs. Toronto's a third world shithole. I don't think it's going to help. Okay. Let's see what he says here.
Dude, well, I can go back and...
Sorry. Did I lose it? Oh.
Yeah. I have a lot of real estate on my ass. A lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass. So
These are various comments here. Oh.
I just do. Well, I can go back and forth with Trump. I'm just not gonna take the bait. This guy's a loser. He's gonna be a loser, and simple as that. We're gonna fight with everything we
So we
have.
called him a loser, okay.
And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body. So there you go. I don't respond to a dictator like President Trump.
No, he's a dictator too.
Like President Trump, as I said before, he's the type of guy in school that would take your lunch money one day, take your toque off your head the next day, and then steal your running shoes. But I'm not going to take any advice off a guy that's the king of bankruptcies. And he's actually tariffing his own people, taxing his own people.
President taking very specific aim at you in deeply personal ways.
Good.
While also, why is that good?
Well, good. He can, you know something? I've been in this game a lot longer than he has. I got skin on me like an alligator. And you think an insult from him hurts me? Well, bring it on, buddy. I'm ready. Bring it on. You know something? I've dealt with guys like you my whole life. And guess what? Y'all become losers because you're a loser.
Are you worried when you hit back that way that you are making Ontarians and Canadians vulnerable because he is such an unpredictable figure?
We have two choices, Siobhan. We either roll back and let him take over our country, watch the steel sector bleed out, watch the auto sector bleed out, the auto part manufacturers bleed out, all the manufacturers bleed out. That's his game. But we're going to play his game. We're not playing his game. Folks, we're an economic powerhouse. Make no mistake about it. He says he doesn't need Canada. I'd love to see, he wants to take our auto sector. I'd love to see him run cars without any oil. I'd love to see, him try to grow vegetables and fruit and everything without the potash. I'd like to see when we have our critical minerals. Matter of fact, high-grade nickel, that 65% comes from Ontario for their military, for their manufacturing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll take it if they. And he's speaking for Alberta as well, which is hilarious. Yeah, like he's talking like a tough guy, and it's like he has nothing to lose. He literally has nothing to lose. We have everything to lose. He doesn't have anything. I can't stand him. Because, like I said, he's done everything to make Ontario worse. I'm not talking just about economics, GDP. I'm talking about, like, cultural society. So, yeah. And listen to the guy. Like, he sounds like an idiot. He sounds like the hash dealer from Etobicoke that he is. And he's gonna outsmart Trump. But I don't know. I'm not optimistic, let's just say that. But you know what? I don't got much to lose, so I'm just here for the ride. Maybe Ford will come out on top. I don't think so. Ontario, I think he'll just bring Ontario down with him. No, he'll bring Ontario down. He'll be at his cottage. Anyway, I'm sure we'll see more of Ford on the daily feed here. All right, next. This caught my eye today. Waterloo Regional Police. Today we're thrilled to welcome families to police headquarters for our backpack challenge, where we handed out backpacks to students from across the community. A big thank you to everyone who made today possible. From our members and volunteers to our generous community partners and donors, your help ensures local students have the supplies they need for successful starts in the year. And, yeah. It's all Indian kids, probably. The reason I saw this, because it reminds me of the food banks. Like, I saw other things where school drives in the States is like all Indians, because it's like free stuff. Even though they shouldn't be, it's for like needy kids. And same with the food banks. They're all at the food banks. So it's like all the back to school fundraisers. It's like the food banks, free food, free school stuff. I thought that was funny. Next. This is what they do in Texas. Yeah, this is coming up, I guess, in September. Their holiday to pollute the water. Basically, they sink all these statues in the water, and like you don't have to. You can get away. They can get away with doing it in a pool, but they need to push it and do it in Ontario waters or Canadian waters, just to show their superior culture. I guess, I don't know. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more of these videos. It's happening in Texas, the Great Lakes the last thing they should be doing is throwing this crap in the Great Lakes. All right, here's another thing that bugs the hell out of me is the Indians and their wheelchairs at the airports. They're going to destroy the airport services for all of us, I'm sure. So basically, if you haven't heard, the Indians seem to abuse the wheelchair system. So, because if you're in the wheelchair, you get like priority boarding and they carry your bags for you. So, my mom actually had to use this service when she went to Greece for the last time. She had some neurological disease, so she couldn't walk, or she didn't have the mobility that she needed for traveling, and she had to do it, and I could see, look on her face. She did not want to be carted around the airport. She would rather have walked. So when you see these Indians, look at this one. The lady's got all her luggage, and this one's sitting there like in her bathrobe or something. And then, it's welcome to the USA, grandparents, or whatever the hell her parents. And then she's walking out of the airport like it's a miracle, like Jesus. So, but they do this all the time, right? Like there's lineups of Indians at the airport in their wheelchairs. And there's such abuse, and it's disgusting. So it says Dallas-Fort Worth Airport needs to publish its recovery statistics. Arrives needing a wheelchair and 2 airport employees. Leaves walking after all 5 suitcases have been handled. Remarkable medicine. But yeah, it's just insulting to people that actually need the service. To see that, it's disgusting. Parasites, man. So yeah, I'm sure the airlines are going to have to step in and change this policy. Like, I don't see how hard it would be to change the policy. You just say, hey, show us your disability. You know, you can't just say you don't want to walk, you know. Then they could put a bunch of wheelchairs and put like a $5 deposit, and if you can't walk, get your kid to wheel you down the dam. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's for seriously ill people. The reason they have this wheelchair service is for seriously ill people who are traveling to either go see a place before they die, or they're going to get treatment for something to stop them from dying, or to help them, maybe help them, whatever. That's the only reason they're traveling. And that's why they use these things. So to see them abused like that, and it's not just abuse, it's abused by one country, one demographic. All right, next. Canadians would like to deport millions of third world immigrants and restore their country. Dean, then he's blocked by Dean Allison, member of Parliament, who's a conservative. So like, these conservatives are all the same. Like, they won't talk about remigration. They won't talk about banning immigration from certain countries. They won't talk about any of this because, you know, they want their votes. So all these conservatives are saying, look at this guy. Look at this guy. They're all the same. They all look the same, all these conservative dudes. Weak ass men. Blocked. It offended him. Dean's got to go court some more Indian voters. And like I said, from now on, if I see any politician from the federal, provincial, or municipal level, like, glad handing photos with like Indian business guys, I'm going to tell them, ban immigration from India. I'm going to start from now on. Because you know what they're doing? They're taking a picture with the Indian dude who owns a business, and he's a pillar of the community. We had this guy. This guy owns a bunch of businesses in Sarnia. He's a pillar of the community, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to normalize this like Indian takeover by saying, look how good they are. Yeah. And then Garbage Globe and Mail defending invaders to Canada, saying they had an opinion piece saying status checks, they don't belong at so they're basically these immigrant protesters. They're going to get kicked out of Canada because their permits are expiring, so they're having all these protests. And then the Canadian Border Services was showing up at the protests to check their paperwork, which they should be doing. Like, that's their job. I've seen the Canadian border guys in action. They could actually do a good job if they wanted to. I was in a raid at a restaurant when they came in, and they had all the exits covered. Anyway, Globe and Mail saying they shouldn't go to these protests. I didn't even read the article because I don't have a subscription, and I don't want a subscription. But the headline says it all. Status checks don't belong at protests. I said, of course, the garbage Globe and Mail. Well, nobody reads a Globe and Mail anymore. I don't. It's a rag. It's probably losing money too. Instead of status checks, well, how about deportation buses? So you roll the bus right up to these protests and say, get on in, boys. Going back to India. Next. Look at this face. Is this the face that's going to save Ontario from Donald Trump? I don't think so. Is that AI? It's not even AI, I don't think. It's just fat Doug Ford. Doug Ford says Canada should be ready to turn off the power in the U.S. if trade fight gets worse. This, Doug Ford sounds a lot like these Ukrainian politicians that were baiting Russia and talking trash about Putin. Look how that worked out. But this is the funny thing is the guys, the politicians in Ukraine who are calling out Putin, or not calling him out, but trash talking Putin and saying fuck Russia and this and that. Those guys didn't suffer. They got secret bank accounts in Morocco. The ones who suffered from that trash talk was the average Ukrainian dude who got sent to the French shit. So that's what I mean when I say these guys, Doug Ford and whoever, Wab, Canoe, whatever, they're talking tough because they're taken care of. Like Jagmeet Singh, they're taken care of. They got their pensions, they got their perks. Like Ford, like I said, he'll be at his, when we can't afford groceries or gas, he'll be in his cottage, But or if they invade us, like Russia invaded Ukraine, then he'll be getting on the first plane out of here, I guarantee that. He won't stick around, this fat traitor. He's done more to destroy Ontario than Donald Trump. But anyway, if we turn the power off, this is the kind of talk that the Ukrainians did before Russia's destroyed their country. So, and only the average Ukrainian suffered, not the elites. The elites didn't suffer in Ukraine at all. If anything, they made money. If anything, they've gotten richer. So, he needs to shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Trump just clapped back hard at Doug Ford after the Ontario Premier told him to kiss my ass. Trade war just went full playground. This is what Trump wrote about Doug Ford. And Doug Ford's loving this because now he's thinking all the Canadians, they're all going to vote for him. Maybe he wants to go for conservative leader. And he's using this to make him like the national, fighting for the national honor against Donald Trump. Like, will people fall? Would conservative voters fall for it? Maybe. This is Donald Trump. Said lots of bluster from Doug Ford, who is the premier of the Canadian province of Ontario, but who is better known as the less charismatic, intelligent, and overall unimpressive brother of the late great Rob Ford. That's hilarious. America has been carrying Canada for decades, but no longer. The USA will always be far bigger, richer, and stronger than Canada. Without the United States, Canada couldn't survive. It's where they get all their money, and because of their current bad leadership, I agree with them on that. We have bad leadership. Primarily Governor Carney and his flunky Ford, they will not be a flunky. Called Ford. He is the flunky. He was Trudeau's flunky, now he's Carney's flunky. Ford, they will not be allowed to keep taking advantage of the U.S. They're key to survival. Remember, much of the electricity, oil, and gas that Canada gets is transported through the USA. Yeah, he actually makes a good point there, Trump, because we don't have a west-east pipeline. The oil from Alberta gets piped through the U.S. and then into Sarnia, where I'm living. Where I am. It's the refineries here and further on. So yeah, they could shut off our oil, our own oil. We could send it by train, but someone should get these clowns to fall in line, or the consequences for Canada will be far worse for Canadians, not for Doug Ford. Canada's unemployment rate is now at 10%, rapidly rising. The businesses are fleeing the United States, and it's all because of their failed policies. and inept leadership. Like I said, I don't disagree with him on that. Days of ripping off our farmers and other businesses are over. That's Donald Trump. So he's definitely got the attention, Doug Ford's attention. Let's see what he says on this.
Our metals and our rare earth metals. That's what we need to do. We need to. Well, he can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. We're going to go at him full steam. And we buy 400% more cars than anyone in the world. Maybe I have an idea. We'll get Danielle Smith on board so the cars that they're manufacturing won't be able to fill up because we'll be controlling the oil and the gas going down there. And maybe what we should be doing is charging him triple on the oil, triple on the potash, on the uranium, on our metals and our rare earth metals. That's what we need to do. We need to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. He's arrogant, he's cocky, and, as Ronald Reagan said, if you come to a draw with a bully, what stops that bully from coming after you the next day and the next day? And that's all Donald Trump is a bully. Well, he's going to have a rude awakening. I'm going to throw everything in the kitchen sink. Like I said, he might as well call up the Energizer Bunny because he should be powering his facilities. Isn't this amazing, Bill? How we send them power, the power manufacturing facilities, to go against our country. That's like America sending Iran weapons. It's ridiculous. So we're ready. And
maybe time to rerun those Reagan ads in the U.S. again. What do you think?
Oh, God.
Oh, stay tuned. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll see. I don't think Ford's going to save Ontario. I think he's going to destroy Ontario. We saw this video. Dort says he's a lot of real estate on his ass. Ford really needs to shut the fuck up. I don't think he's going to, though. I think he's going to keep going. Next. Another Indian story. This is a funny one. Brampton police warn public over South Asians pretending to be cops. Investigators in Brampton are seeking the public's assistance following a fraud involving suspects described as South Asian who were impersonating police officers. So, of course, we're hiring them as police all over Canada, so why not have fake Indian police? We have real Indian police, well, we might as well have fake ones too. But yeah, they'll scam wherever they can. If there's a scam, they'll do it. All right. Next. Canadian Jewish lobby and the Muslim lobby are in cahoots with regards to censorship, according to Mark Emery here. He's running for a council seat out in BC. Hope he wins. B'nai B'rith has been urging governments and police services for decades to censor and prohibit individuals with nationalist and remigration views. I support Second Sons of Canada, Remigration, Dominion Society. So, Dominion Society is having their a conference on Saturday in Hamilton, and everybody's all freaking out because they're nationalists and they want to have a meeting. It's like, last time I checked, they didn't break the law, they didn't kill anybody, they didn't rape anybody. I thought we had free speech in this country, but they want a meeting, and Hamilton mayor is trying to shut them down. The Hamilton MP, the foreigner from Pakistan's trying to call CSIS on them, and it's ridiculous. And now B'nai B'rith, who blocked me, I'm blocked by B'nai B'rith, I'm not too worried about that, but they're lobbying for this guy, this Martin Sellner guy, to get denied entry to Canada. He's supposed to speak at the conference. I can't stand B'nai B'rith. They need to go. But the press release caught my eye, B'nai B'rith. And I have no sympathy for these Jewish groups who cry about anti-Semitism and their synagogues getting vandalized, but the people doing that to them are the ones that the nationalists are trying to get rid of. But instead of saying, hey, yeah, you're right, we should get rid of these people, they attack the nationalists. Something's up with that. But look, let's read what B'nai B'rith says. B'nai B'rith urging federal officials to block foreign extremists from entering the country to attend a far-right conference later this month. See, they push censorship. These guys were pushing for the Bill C9. They're trying to. They were going after Bigot Fest. The event in question is called the Dominion Conference, or DomCon. It is billed as the first ever international gathering of Canadian nationalists. Its organizers claim it is not a rally, but a professional conference and a network opportunity. Canadian nationalists are getting organized. Promotion material for the event proclaims. Dominion Society promotes what it calls remigration as the only path forward to save Canadians from becoming a minority in what the group refers to as Canadian homelands. Quote, homelands. Only Israel can have homeland. When we say homeland, you have to put it in quotes. Canadian, quote, Canadian. My God. The Canadian, according to the Dominion Society, is descended from pioneers and explorers who built Canada instead of a nation of immigrants. Canada is a nation that belongs to one people. Multiculturalism is an artificial byproduct of globalism. So this is what B'nai B'rith is quoting as the nefarious ideology of Dominion. Last time I checked, it's called free speech. It's like you're allowed to have an opinion. Okay. They've alerted the border service agencies about Martin Sellner and Charles Fraser Downs, who's from UK. We are also engaging with local law enforcement and community partners to ensure that DomCon does not cause disorder or threatens members of the public. Last time I checked, you're the one who's threatening and causing disorder. You're trying to shut it down. DomCon is nothing more than a gathering of racist ethno-nationalists. Such events serve only to normalize hatred and extremism in Canadian society. Our government cannot allow foreign agitators, just only the agitators from Israel are allowed in, to enter Canada to indoctrinate Canadians and spread their hateful vitriol. It comes as Canada is grappling with rising levels of hate-motivated extremism. This includes a national crisis of anti-Semitism. I don't think Dominion Society is doing the anti-Semitism attacks. In fact, they want to, which is manifested in a dramatic surge in violent incidents during recent. So basically, they're saying Dominion Society is causing this anti-Semitism. Like literally, none of the Dominion Society members are shooting up mosques. White supremacists and neo-Nazi groups are becoming a growing problem throughout the country. Earlier this month, B'nai B'rith exposed a North Bay, Ontario event called Bigot Fest, which included figures associated with Second Sons Canada, an extremist entity that promotes racist hate propaganda. So they're going after Second Sons, they're going after Dominion Society, they're going after anybody that calls themselves a nationalist. Because the only nationalist you're allowed is a Jewish nationalist. Literally. B'nai B'rith supports Jewish nationalism, but... And they blocked me, so I can't comment. So, we'll see how their conference goes. I would like to have gone, but I think it's more of a for the younger crowd. Fuck this guy in his little Aladdin outfit. A man was filmed spray painting a memorial message on boulders near Gold Creek in Golden Ears Park, the day after a man drowned in the Lower Falls area. So yeah, BC will be destroyed. They don't care. That's what they do. So looks like their bro died in the water because he probably couldn't swim. And so what did they do? Let's go wreck the whole environment. Like, rest in peace, bro. Yeah, that's horrible. All right, let's keep. I think that's the gist of it today. The gist. You get the picture. Okay. So it should be a lot of interesting stuff going into September. We also have the by-elections coming up in August 31st. So that's like next week, a week from today. So there's like 3 by-elections. There's 3 by-elections. I think one in BC, one in Quebec. I don't know who the other one is, but so that should be interesting to see if the Pierre does. If Pierre, because Pierre Poilievre's under a lot of pressure because of polls and disgruntled MPs, and so those three by-elections should be interesting for him to see how his leadership withstands any challenges, but also these trade things and Doug Ford's fat mouth. Should be lots of stuff to talk about. And then we're heading into the Liberal leadership. Not that I care about the Liberal Party. I think they should just shut it down. It's useless. But their leadership campaign will be heating up coming into September, and then the municipal elections. Municipal elections will be heating up, so a lot of stuff to talk about. Next broadcast will be tomorrow. Sorry, my throat's a little dry here. August 25th, tomorrow. Tuesday, August 25th. So until then, have a nice night.